checking here. Oh, they sent an email. Here, Asmongold in the background. Your stream was interrupted. It says right here. Copyright. Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny. They took me off there because of my own listening to my own stream on the other fucking device. Isn't that crazy? Oh, okay, there. Now we're live again. That's fucked. So I just can't listen to my own stream. That's funny. I caused my own copyright. It wasn't even anybody else. I guess I'll just listen to some Asmongold or something. I don't even have any sound. There we go. Turn this one off. Switch to this one. There we go. All right, good. It's not so bad then. Oh man, so close. It's gonna be nice to be in a clean house.
If you let these people get in there, they hire each other and they hire more of each other, and now they're redundant, but they keep hiring each other because it's not about hiring each other, it's about consolidating power. They multiply. They are a cancer. One of so many things. What is this here? Let me see. I'll pull this up. And is this? Oh boy. Okay, let me go back. I'll see if I can find it. And criminal gang. I'll look at that in a bit. Yeah, I'll pull that up. And sound like Indians? Yeah, definitely. You understand? You talking about Indians? It's not about Indians. It's got nothing to do with Indians. And mainstream journalists are losing their jobs because 23-year-olds with YouTube channels are doing real reporting.
That's funny.
That's right. Heather Kelly. I was laid off by the Washington Post today. I know, real original sentence. My first plagiarism in 20 years of journalism. My job was stupid fun, and I loved every minute of it.
Was that the chick that drank?
That's just too bad, huh?
Hands are itchy.
Stupid is not an adverb. Yeah, there it is. And you got all these people. I am so happy to see this. I am. And definitely stupid. Yep, all these people are getting sent back. And someone's in a war zone and got fired. Well, hey, the other ones shouldn't have. They shouldn't have poisoned the well. They shouldn't have done it if they didn't want that to happen. So read her own reply. What's her reply? Let's see what this is.
Oh man.
I'm going to stare at a wall for the rest of the day. And by a wall, I mean TikTok. And then I'll stand up and get back to what I love. Writing about the ways real humans use tech for good and weird, yes, to disassociate after a bad day. Man. Outside, wait, what is this here? Outside of your ridiculous Washington Post bubble, nobody thinks their work was amazing. Good. Well, what the hell is this? The queen of diversity and retention studies has been let go.
Hey, I'm not getting political. Asmongold is. I'm just listening. Man. I'm trying not to.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Well, hey, that's just what happens, right, guys? And it's just going to get worse. Not the queen. Yeah, or the code. Exactly. And so
learn the code.
the writers and journalists over there are crying and upset about it. And I want to let everybody know that this is only going to get worse.
Turn it down a bit.
It is.
I moved this over.
Only continue getting
the table.
Worse,
I think I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to put the press here.
More of them get fired. And the reason why, I'm going to tell you the real reason why. It's because these people aren't.
The thing I make, it's going to be like a press or a hammer.
That's the reason why
it's going to go right here.
They keep getting fired.
I've decided.
It's because they're not doing anything that matters.
And I just go from here with hot metal to over there.
That people cared about, the people wanted
but yeah, they got an actuator, mechanical air compressor actuator.
No, I'm not.
So all I have to do is make a frame for it and a hammer end or whatever.
Yes, and got to produce things. Yes, exactly. The political pundits, not their own.
I better watch the battery as well.
The funding is drying up.
Clean up this table here.
And it's again 19 climate change.
Most of it's just stuff not put away.
19 climate change writers.
The
racist
I love it.
legacy that many birds carry.
What? No, that's fucked. Birds are racist now?
I love to see this.
Everything's racist to these people.
No joke. He hates bluebirds.
He hates bluebirds.
Redbirds hate more than bluebirds. There it is. If your position at the Washington Post was recently eliminated, please consider applying to write for the Babylon Bee. We are seeking applicants experienced in writing fictional content presented in the tone and style of a legitimate news organization.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Jada Yuan, laid off writer from the
I gotta turn it back up again, otherwise I won't hear it.
And missing the boat. Needs to go back to the Quality Learning Center.
Luring Center. Yeah. Leering Center.
How about that? That's sad.
Nice. Nope. Nope. They don't work. Just complain about shit.
Staff is destroying the Washington Post sports department, but if you have time to walk on the red carpet NFL honors in San Francisco, amazing. Wow, I wonder why. That's crazy. What a big surprise. So anyway, this is what it is. And now we keep each other trying to complain about this. But there's nothing I love.
Yeah, they're losing their power, these liberals. It's funny. Losing all their political power. Great. They've had too much power for too long. And they lie nonstop. If I just strap this thing down. Oh no, I'll go sideways.
So basically, he's been fucking with you for days. He said for people to kill you, and then whenever he saw you, he tried to hit you with a car. Damn, that's too bad. And you tell me you rounded his fat ass up. I love it. Yep. And then they try to lie. Yeah, and they're defending him. They are. They would defend him doing it. If he hit her with the car, they'd say it was okay.
Yep.
That's the reason why.
Spoiled kids. The more they cry, they think they get their way. Because that's what they did with their parents. Doesn't work in real life.
You're brown?
You're brown.
Oh my god. Is it the same cop? Dude, they need to give this guy, like, fucking a bonus or something. They do. Like, this guy is going around being called the N-word by a bunch of white people because he's deporting people out of America. Like, I mean, we gotta help this guy out or something.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. What the fuck is going on here?
The anti-racists are calling him the N-word. It's hilarious.
Look, well, good job, dude. You're brown. You're not white, you're brown. You know that, right?
What does that have to do with being a citizen? They're so stupid. Already looking better. They're mental.
You're brown.
You're brown. No shit.
What he means is that he thinks that black people should have solidarity with illegal alien Mexicans and Guatemalans and Venezuelans and people from Africa. He thinks they should have solidarity because they have a similar skin tone.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny.
They should agree with each other and work with each other because they have the same skin tone. Now, I don't know who's going to tell him, but inside of Africa, the black people in Africa hate each other. There are levels of racism between Kenyans and Somalians that you're not even aware of. There's levels of racism inside of Somalia based off of clans that you haven't even heard of.
Husband Gold's awesome. I like him.
How deep this goes. This is meta racism.
He tells the truth, but he does it in a
this guy literally
good way.
Thinks that racism ends at skin color. What the hell do you think we did World War I for? Do we have to come up with something? Fuck. Like, these people were so stupid.
Commercials. Fuck you. Oh, I hate commercials. I need to give my mom her lighter back. Maybe I'll just keep it as a backup.
There's a new crown out there.
Right here or something. It's getting better in here already. Doesn't take that long. A diesel heater, propane heater. Oh, it's an Elvis movie. This girl's fucked.
It's all the time.
Fuck, I hate commercials. It's like mind rape, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to listen to it. I don't care. They won't let you skip it unless you use Brave browser. So evil. Stupid.
Good job, dude. You're not white,
You're brown.
You're not white, you're brown. You know that. Person, fuck you. You're brown. If you look in the mirror and see a white person, fuck you. Fuck you.
Idiot.
Oh my god.
Jesus. They're so stupid.
What a fucking idiot, man.
Oh,
Racist
shit.
protesters? I don't understand how these people turned into the KKK. And yeah, he got, bro, rolling up on him in the Subaru. Rolling up, hey, there ain't
Subaru.
nothing like rolling up on a bunch of black people and yelling at them in your Subaru. Man,
That's true.
man.
Colorado, that's all they drive is Subarus.
Tons of the days, right, boys?
Well, a lot of them.
Yelling at black people, calling them the N-word. Oh my God! And Democrats already KKK. Yeah, it's really impressive for me to see this. Seth Rogen fell off. Yeah, and as a self-declared sane person, I declare these people are wingnuts. They tank the Subaru brand. I know, and really, it's weird.
Yeah,
as hell what
Subarus are
these
good
people
vehicles.
doing, isn't it? These people are always racist. The mask is just coming off now. Well, I think that what's really being revealed by these people is the fact that with a lot of them, they actually are racist. Like, they are legitimately racist, but they are not the same kind of racist that they think other racists are. So they think that because they are a different type of racist, that they're not racist. But they're actually just another type of racist.
That's a good point.
That's it.
Yeah, they're anti-white racists.
No, yeah, exactly. They're racist and stupid. Well, what I'm saying is that their version, like, they're also advocating for racist racial policies and racial identity and racial politics, but they're doing it in a way that they think is a morally good way. So for them, racism is a good thing. It's kind of like it's like the horseshoe theory, basically. Play the video of the New York City chick saying black people don't know what a computer are.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the black vote.
We're literally saying they're too stupid to get IDs. It's fucking funny. Like, everybody almost has IDs.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist.
Ah.
They're bad. I think voter ID
How?
laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Have you ever, did you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think
That's
it
better.
suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely. Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to
No, it's so you can get illegal aliens to vote in your elections.
These type of people don't live in areas with the access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You know what the IDs you do on the internet? Is that also
Asmongold's doing good work. I'm gonna put these Allen keys in something else. The jar or something. Them all in one place, or like a tin can or something.
young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know that the word computer. They don't know. And at work, the world open up to all of them. Because when you have these diverse voices innovating solutions to technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenge. Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
Service provider for certain.
In particular,
Yeah, you
That's
have
pretty
to have access
racist.
to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
you think that's harder for black people?
What's wrong with them? You want to know the reason why they do this? I'm going to explain the reason why they do this. It's because these are white people that live in gated communities around other white people. They don't interact with any black people. That's the real reason. Is that they don't know any black people. They don't interact with them. They have anything to do with them. So they only know what the media tells them.
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works. A lot of people have smartphones, they might not have data. For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or like they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of like black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to.
She's assuming they're felons. I like his long pauses. He does those long pauses too for reactions.
I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you guys, this is where we're at.
Voting with how you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
Now you're
Well, you see, like, so black people commit a bunch of crime, and in Florida, oh man, they commit a crazy amount of crime. Is that right? Wow.
in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID, Roland? Is there ID on?
Yeah, that's state ID.
Do you carry ID? You know anybody who's
She laughed. Yeah, I remember I saw this first time. I said she laughed. She thinks it's funny. It's such a stupid fucking question.
Yeah.
It's a stupid fucking what do you have ID? And here's the thing too. I grew up with a lot of people, multiracial, Hispanic, black, so primarily Mexican and black.
Let's get rid of this coat
One
too.
thing,
Bomber
one
jacket.
of my friends' dads
It's nice,
told
too.
him, and he was teaching him to drive.
Yeah, all kinds of jackets. Too many.
And he said, "Son, you're going 45." And my friend goes, "No, I'm going 35." He says, "No, you're going 45. That's an extra 10 because you're black." Anybody who grew up in the areas that I did knew that you had to have your shit. No, really, that's what he went and said. He went and said that shit. And the thing is that, no, this is the way it is. They are the ones that are going to have the ID the most. Because from where I come from, like when I grew up, those were the people that, like, you have to have your ID. Because it was always the narrative of never give them a reason. That was always the thing that people were telling you.
That's true.
That's what I heard. And this is also, by the way, this is not just for black people. They said this to everybody, but they said especially if you're black, because listen, like, we got to keep it real, guys. The police used to fuck with black people a lot. Sometimes they still do. It's serious. It's real. I'm not saying every time it happens, but it has happened. And historically, it was really
They do it
bad.
for a reason, though.
That's the reason why.
Because they're known.
So
Known to do stuff.
About this is that I bet a lot of these people probably are more likely to have an impact.
Just because of
Because how
crime.
many of you guys grew up with the narrative, never give them a reason?
It's another guitar case.
How many of you guys all grew up with that? Because that was the way I grew up. Never give them a reason.
Half.
Yep.
Oh, there's another fan. Fuck yeah.
Duh. That's why they all have IDs. Saying I'm white? Yeah, for sure. I think that today. I do too.
black person doesn't carry ID? No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Well, I think they don't have ID.
Why would you?
That's a lie.
That's so. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
What would you say?
I know why they would say that.
I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Yeah, everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with.
Duh.
ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID? No. Is it a weird thing for you to say that?
I would say that out of my anecdotal evidence. Okay, I do have a friend that's Mexican that doesn't have an ID. He recently got a new one. He did. He recently, and like, this is a whole situation. But all right, he didn't have an ID for a while,
Well, this seems
but
cool.
now he does.
All those incense cups.
Number one.
I need
Besides
to get
that,
some
though,
cone incenses. Incest.
I didn't have an ID for a while. I'm white.
Half this shit's just junk.
I feel like I probably know more white people without an ID. No, I
These
know more white
hoses.
people than but still,
Raven!
I didn't have an ID for like 3 years.
There's a 50
Why didn't
pound.
I ID?
No elbows though.
Some type of trick cameras.
It's a
the only
filler
thing I heard.
hose.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV. That's what that's saying.
I know exactly what I'm doing this year.
Do you know where the DMV is, right? You?
to 125th Street and
What
3rd
I
Avenue.
find to be even funnier about this is that the DMV is usually in an urban area, and usually inner city urban areas are where, listen,
Usually black
it's
people
a-
work
you
at the
know, we're all
DMV.
talking plain English. This is where a lot of black people are.
Yeah.
Like the DMV in my area is like 90% Hispanic. There's almost no white.
It's funny. Funny shit. Asmongold's great. Halfway done. Just want to wake up in the morning, clean workshop. Start fresh. Fresh start. Okay, what else? It's good. Another wedge I can tear apart. Pipe. It's cold. It's cold, Raven. It's still on. Wow. Still getting a signal from all the way outside. Awesome. That's funny. I got copyrighted for listening to my own stream. Listening to the stream of me streaming. Don't ever do that. Copyright you for your own content. At least they're protecting me. I feel so protected for myself. Should tear apart some shit in the bus too tomorrow. Steal some plywood out of there. Oh, come on, puppy.
You want to get that? Yeah. You have a problem getting there? You have to get there?
You're still doing it.
Silly question. You know how to get DMV? I know where it is. You can get there? No problem. No problem. Okay. And I also heard a lot that black people, especially fullback people, have no access to the internet. Can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's because honestly, that's
My pajamas.
figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly?
They can't do it at work. Of course I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads,
That's
iPods,
funny.
whatever.
Your phone has data?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to the people who have this perception of it?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's my thought process.
He's right. He's right. It's the correct word.
Oh, cool.
Is that they literally are not around any minorities, so they have this infantilized version of them as if they're like some kind of uncontacted tribe.
Oh, good one.
You know, we've got to teach these people how to use a computer. The year's 2025.
What's this?
2026.
Oh, this is a bag.
This is 2014.
Yeah, it's a bag.
It's embarrassing.
I thought it was a guitar case.
The ignorant, yeah.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Yeah, this is fucked.
That's what they're hitting me.
This guitar bag.
Yeah.
This is old, man.
Does it sound racist
Denver.
or something to say that?
I think it's a little racist because you're putting people in a category and you're
He's dressed like it's
Dump this out.
1995.
not idea what
Maybe it's but I think it's more ignorant.
Fucking burn it. There.
Do you have a problem if you go to vote, they say complete your site CID to make sure you are, you say you are, you have an issue with that? Do you have a problem if there's a rule where you have to show your ID in order to vote?
Yeah, they lie, man, Democrats.
I don't think so.
Now, did you have an issue if there was a rule saying you gotta show your ID before you vote?
Wow. Wow. That's crazy, huh? How about that?
They just want illegals to vote. That's all it is. Nothing to do with black people not able to vote.
That's why he's got his ID, because he doesn't want to go back.
Yep.
I mean, think about that.
Ah, commercials. Fucking hate YouTube. Hate that about YouTube. Stupid commercials. Boots. Oh my God. Ugh. Don't care about Team Canada. Fucking retards.
We begin this Sunday morning with increasing
Oh my
calls
God.
to investigate and possibly arrest Jim Comey after the former FBI director posted an image on social media suggesting
Oh, this is the next video. Hold on.
President Trump.
I guess I'll just listen to whatever's on YouTube. Home. Something interesting. Beard meets food. What's this about?
President.
Oh, salty cracker. My revolution. Friends and enemies. Oh, cool. This is good.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeff Nyquist. I'm in the United States. My co-host Alex Benish is in Germany. This is Friends and Enemies, and we're going to continue part 3 of our discussing the Epstein affair and the complexities of the child trafficking allegations and the political espionage fallout and what occult groups or satanic ritual abuse may have to do with any of this. So, Alex, what we were talking about before, there have been allegations, of course, appearing in the Epstein files, and I just want to make this comment.
Epstein.
Initially, they not
Stein.
some files appeared and then disappeared, but there's files about babies are cream cheese or better than cream cheese.
Ugh.
There's also
Disgusting.
I think it's a 1994 sworn affidavit.
YouTube covered for all these people
Johnson
too.
Versus,
Never forget
Epstein
that.
Trump back in the 90s about her being basically raped and made into a sex slave at the age of 13.
Jeez.
You've got pictures of Epstein with little boys. He didn't have any children.
Ugh.
There's some very
That's
strange things emerging now.
I hope they all go to
know,
jail.
Maybe some things
Or
are
worse.
digitally falsified, although they're drawing these things, some of these things right out of the old files.
Yeah, why don't they make a thing with AI to make sure that you know the difference between real and fake? They probably do have something embedded in the code.
Pam Bondi's
The visual image.
I got to go over it again
Maybe.
before Congress more than a week ago, in which he was very disrespectful of the whole process. She pretended to be had papers on her desk. She was like doing paperwork or something while she's being, and then she's sort of flippantly answering and then aggressively going after like Congressman Nadler when he's asking questions I want answers to. I'm not a big fan of the Democratic
Nadler's a
Party.
piece of shit.
I think they're bad, but now I see both parties are bad.
Oh, yeah.
Because she couldn't answer this following basic question.
They're both corrupt.
Which is, why have you unmasked witnesses who did not want to be public, whose confidentiality was to be guaranteed? Because, you know, witnesses against powerful people, revealing their names could be intimidating when there's been death threats against some of the witnesses.
Yeah, really.
And then there's the names of perpetrators have been.
Who the hell threatened
mentioned,
someone for
like the,
exposing pedophiles?
The Arab
That's
businessman
weird.
who had written to Epstein that he really enjoyed the torture video.
Ugh.
Right?
God.
And
Oh,
now he's
Khashoggi.
resigned. You've got Prince Andrew was detained for questioning. They're calling it arrest. Some newspapers think it was detained. He has been stripped of his royal title. It seems like some people are being thrown to the wolves, but other people are being protected.
Yeah.
It seems to me.
They probably
that,
redacted the thing like
pile
6
it all on
times.
These people, but everyone else gets a get out of jail free card. Or am I just imagining it? Is this just hysteria?
Well, what we're seeing now is it's definitely damage control, and damage control always works the same. You know, it's happened before. It happened in Britain a bunch of times. It happened in all kinds of places, but quite a lot, and it always worked the same. I mean, there was this one scandal. I forgot the street name. This was in London.
Put this back in the bus.
Very close to the.
I'm gonna have to use that bus soon.
Because this was like the seedier part
Oh shit! Parked too close to the side here. Ooh! All the snow melts soon. I'll lock this thing. Still running good. I should try to register it. I think I'm gonna. There's a dog.
So there was no
Hi.
protective.
You're so good. You didn't even
systems
leave.
in place, like we have today.
See how obedient she
Work
is.
a little bit, somewhat. And there was pretty close to where the river murders happened. There was this brothel, like a gay brothel for elites
Oh god.
with underage boys.
Ew.
And
Disgusting.
And there was lords, powerful people going there. Lords, people that had to leave the country at a later stage. And so the police would find these young boys and check their pockets and find significant amounts of money, which they would not be expected to have.
Oh shit.
So they questioned these
Correct.
boys, and they said, "Yeah, we do these things to make money in this place." So the press got.
This is from Louisiana.
So it became a scandal.
My cousin's neighbor
And
made
the
it
elite
and
went
let me
into
have it.
damage control mode. So
cool.
first of all, they shielded Prince Eddie.
It's got little
he
fish
was
hooks
also
on it.
Kind of somewhat tied.
Should hang
into
it
this whole
somewhere.
Ripper thing, but that's a whole other ballgame.
Maybe here.
They shielded Prince Eddie because he was too important. He was too powerful. You know, he got dressed down by the crown, the leadership of the crown, and the way the system worked is they would tell Prince Eddie, no more of this. You're grounded, basically, and the decision is final. And usually when the crown says the decision is final, it's really final. And people in the family, they have to absolutely 100% obey these
Royals.
these decisions. And so
I can't believe I'm related to those people.
and they kept him out of it. Basically. So they still to this day it's claimed that Prince Eddie had nothing to do
You're
with
an embarrassment.
this gay outrage brothel service. It was a service. This is like Epstein. He had a service. People ordering specific things from Epstein. Hey, I want, someone who's dressed like a fairy tale character. Okay, sure, yeah, we can do that. And so then it's like, okay, I have another fantasy. Get me that. And so he got that. So then was Lord Somerset or one of these lords. He had to leave the country. He was also protected and wasn't kept out of the news cycle. And then of course distractions happened. There was always a war looming with the French or the Germans or whatever, so people tended to forget these things and think these were isolated cases. This was just, this one lord and, this Prince Eddie character who was originally destined to be king. Yeah, he was kind of like a screw up in the family. Forgot about it. Right? There's always a new royal wedding, there's always a new royal this, royal that, and people go ooh and ah.
Yeah.
And so these things happened all the time. At some point, a spy operation was bust in the place that I live in, Bavaria. This was the Bavarian Illuminati. They got busted by police, so all of the documents were quoted, a bit like the Epstein files, but it was not the same content though. In it, the creepy stuff, the revolutionary stuff they were into. And so everybody was talking about it, big scandal. So people behind got into damage control mode. These German aristocrats, and what they did was they said, it was not such a big group after all. It was not so big. It failed, and it ended. And also, the aristocrats, they started to publish these best-selling conspiracy books. They created the modern genre, with John Robinson's Proofs of the Conspiracy, Barbarels, I think it was a 4-volume series, and some other conspiracy best-selling books, like for August von Stark also had a German book that's forgotten now. But they created a whole conspiracy genre to control the narrative and to distract, right? And so damage control works the same way now, today with the Epstein case. And the big problem we have right now even though we got all these emails, millions and millions of pages, and like it looks like the mother load, but each individual bit is not enough to support conviction. This is only just maybe a little starting point for an actual investigation, which may never really happen with most of these people. So we got all these documents.
They don't seem interested.
Yeah. So we got all these documents, and
because they're in them.
so,
of course, they're not interested.
People that were
Who's gonna bust the thing that they're gonna
really
the part of, right?
FC enterprise and the
Crazy.
bigger circles around that or above that. These people have a head start with their damage control methods because they knew many years ago that this is coming to an end, or this could become a big problem after the first conviction of Epstein, and then of course the article in the Miami Herald by Julie K. Brown. So they came to damage control. So even though we got the emails, a lot of bodies may already be buried or eaten by sharks or
little kids' bodies.
Horrible. They had these tragic accidents
Sick
and
fuckers.
They can't speak no more, or some people left the country, or they got a new citizenship and they will never be seen again. Or we saw celebrities leaving the U.S. in recent months, or after Epstein's arrest, celebrities that started to disappear. And it's difficult to get a conviction because you need all this evidence, you need all these witnesses, blah 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 blah. But if people involved had a head start, then a lot of evidence is gone.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Or there's always a national security argument. Oh, we can't really, it's too embarrassing for the U.S. It could destabilize the U.S. It's too much of a mess. We'll cover a lot of it up. Few heads will roll. And then we need a distraction. Could be
Because it's connected to the immigration policy. The same people flooding the countries with immigrants are the same people molesting children.
Well, that's what Trump is now.
Not hard to figure out.
To go into the Pentagon and get the alien file.
Ooh, look, aliens! Oh my God, aliens! So and then of course.
Oh look, aliens! Don't look at Epstein.
Who cares about Epstein when you got aliens? So then the national security thing, it's like a spiral of crazy, a spiral that may never end unless we make it end, and it goes like this. So
Raven.
People,
There you are. Okay, good.
People who want to join higher ranks, they offer their services. They are like an applicant to a job or a position. Saying, pick me. I'm better than the others. I'm more loyal than the others. You will not regret recruiting me. So then if you actually get the chance to prove yourself, in order for the existing system to trust you.
Paper. Oh yeah. Come on, bro.
Because these people told me they were going to spy on me. That's fine. But what comes next?
Fix that cord thing.
To spy, to really spy on other powerful people often means you need to have illegal fun with them, because otherwise they wouldn't talk to you. They wouldn't want to be friends with you. And if you want to spy on someone, it's always great to become their friend. Become a trusted person. And so to gain some people's trust, you have to do some crazy illegal fun activities, right? But these activities carry exposure risks, which then have to be mitigated with even more spying, which creates more exposure risk. Ultimately, everyone becomes a spy, can have illegal fun, and is legally protected. There's this clip going around from Alan Dershowitz. I think Dershowitz was talking to Piers Morgan. And so the question was, so if somebody is attached to an intelligence agency, that means the person is safe even when they get caught with this stuff? And Dershowitz basically says, yeah, I can get anybody out of jail if there's an intelligence connection. If there's this official or this status, it's the easiest thing. No jail time. That's how it works. Okay, wait a minute. What if everybody ultimately becomes a spy in a certain elite circle and everybody's protected? Anybody gets caught, national security, they were spying, You know, everybody,
Well,
somebody's
you
always
get
buying something.
you get everybody sewed up if you can create a network where you're promoting and demoting people based on the compromise.
Yeah.
This is basically the Soviet criminal system. I mean, it's just a criminal cartel. You get to join the mafia by what? You commit a murder, and they trust you and they elevate you. And the more crimes, the more serious crimes you commit for the group, the more you're trusted, the more responsibility you're given.
Yeah.
But if you don't commit that basic crime, you're not let into the inner circle.
Or when you join the mafia, then you talk to some guys and say, oh, you know, I really think I deserve a better position in the mafia. You know, I should have gotten promoted a long time ago. This is ass. I don't like it, and maybe I should do my own thing.
They'll just kill you.
You know, just separate from the group, or do things I'm not supposed to be doing.
Can't leave the group.
This talk ultimately will get back to the leadership, and then they will deal with you, because otherwise it's just amateur hour. You know, if everybody's just narcissistic and like, screw the group, I'm gonna do my own thing. Maybe I'm gonna sell out to our enemies, our competitors, whatever. Maybe I play everybody. It's just for personal gain. This is amateur hour. To be professional, there has to
See, I've said this before.
Espionage. Everybody's looking at everybody.
Exactly what he's saying.
We know that we heard that a long time ago that Donald Trump's former mentor Roy Cohn was involved in some really crazy counterintelligence operations. Trying to find traitors or pro-communist people.
He was a lawyer that prosecuted the Rosenbergs. Was a chief counsel.
The Rosenbergs deserve to die.
That, at one
they were
point,
total communist traitors.
I think Senator McCarran was in charge of it before McCarthy was. And where McCarthy got in trouble in the Army McCarthy hearings.
People on the left would say they're heroes, though.
What went wrong for McCarthy was blamed on Cohen. But Cohen was a homosexual. He denied it his whole life, and I think it's pretty well established that he was a homosexual. And limited time industry offers are
fucking ads.
Bank's high, the rate stays high.
Hate the ads.
Sign up in minutes at etbank.ca.
These guys have a good podcast. I like it. Fucking fuck you. No. I want to see banking ads about
he was a lawyer for
Negroes.
The mobsters in New York.
That's literally what it was. 2 black people with a banking app. Why? First time it's been clean in a long time. It'll be messy all over again. Ate the babies by accident. So funny.
Was temporarily insane when he ate those babies, and thus he's not guilty, or he should enter a very soft plea deal. So lawyers are like that. And with court, I mean, imagine if somebody actually has these government connections, and this person says, okay, you know what? We're going to do this counterintelligence operation. We need to find these traitors. We need to find these pro-communist, sympathizers in politics and in government and, economy, everything. And so we're gonna stage these honey traps, parties with girls and guys and drugs and maybe even underage. And then we film this. We secretly film this, and then we got them. And we can, if we find out they're working against the interests of the United States,
over there.
We can, get them out of office. We can blackmail them, or we can turn them and make get them to say things that are not true to their Soviet handlers and whatnot. Now, what is the problem? What did I just mention?
What?
These sort of operations
carry
crazy exposure risks, and once there's a screw up, people actually.
Oh, maybe my friend messaging me.
They may double down. This is sunk
Telegram
cost
or
fallacy
something.
and say we gotta do more operations now. We gotta go more hardcore
What?
and protect people that are now compromised.
Something's burning.
Because only then can we make this work in the end. But the costs keep rising and the risk gets even more crazy. When this is when kind of like
I know what it is
Western, these dark Western systems came into contact with these very, very dark systems from the East, namely the Russians. They collided. They were competitors, and they tried to, out-dominate each other. But eventually, I think they realized they had a lot in common because both sides are very, very dark. And I mentioned this on previous episodes. There was a lot of occultism in Russia. It's been like this for hundreds of years. Some of the stuff came from the Eastern Roman Empire. Some of these ancient mystery cults, that was for the more wealthy guys in Russia. But you also had, in Russia, but you also had this folk Satanism, this backwater occultism, in the woods. This is still to this day. It's huge in Russia. There's so much occultism with normal people in Russia. And so there was like when communism happened.
You want this?
You had a communist elite. This communist elite who was into these elite mystery cults, and then you had a lot of followers. The normal communist, communist comrades. And they were from the general population. In the beginning, these peasants would join the Red Army, but a lot of these peasants were not really Christian. A lot of these peasants, they were actually into this folk Satanism, from hundreds of years ago, 1,000 years ago. So a lot of Satanism, a lot of occultism, a lot of occultists became communists. And then they tried to infiltrate the West. But there was also a lot of occultism in the West. The elite stuff in the West, it came from the ancient empires, but also the folk Satanism, the folk occultism in a general European population, and then this dark stuff from Europe, this very, very dark stuff from Europe, it got ported into the United States. Europeans were flooding the U.S. and they brought this with them. The folk Satanism or the more elite stuff, mystery cults.
Well, they did a survey in the U.S. on Satanism in the 90s. They did a couple on ritual abuse, pedophilia, and mind
baby
control
eating
allegations. And this was after the Satanic Panic of the 1980s. And people really didn't know.
And some of that shit's real.
Listen to this stuff.
I met people that
talk about something like
lived through it. Who've claimed to, anyways.
What's her name? Kathleen, the lady that claimed that she was being raped by President Ford and Cheney and all these other people. Really crazy allegations.
Yeah, some of it's just probably made up. Some of it's probably real.
Transformation of America, yeah.
Transformation of America. And if you read that book, it's like you are thinking, this is obviously fabrication. I mean, her mental illness or whatever's going on is coming out. None of this is true. None of it's corroborated. In fact, she's got Cheney at the Pentagon doing things for Reagan when he was a congressman from Wyoming. He wasn't at the Pentagon. I mean,
Reagan's from Wyoming?
The timeline doesn't even work.
I didn't know
It's
that.
just obviously not true. So it's obviously
Wyoming's cool.
confabulation. But whether she believes it or not, I mean, what her mental condition is, if she has a dissociative personality disorder, where it comes from. And that's true for all of these people.
Oh, cool, it's burning.
In New Zealand, and
think so.
Lucas well, she was in Belgium. But yet there are some alignments, some corroboration when we get to the Franklin cover-up, and we see in her life that you got to look at a lot of data, like something like Nick Bryant has done, to see that there are certain things are lining up. So there's a reality in these telephone networks.
It's cool that this has become mainstream. Now you can't get censored for listening to it. They used to censor everybody that listened to this kind of stuff. All out in the open now. Can't call us conspiracy nuts no more. We were right. You didn't listen. Shit's real, man. Real, but nobody knows what's true about it or not.
The emotional responses, the trauma on the face, I'm sorry, you can't make that up. So, I heard you remember correctly, this association is part of the what happens to you when you're abused as a child. How many of those memories are true? How many are false? If there's mind control and hypnosis or drugs being used, false memories can be created. Same thing, some psychologists compare work-life balance around other rituals compared to abuse with this mind control because it's very similar. We have recovered memories, often comes from hypnosis, the reliability and how that is. It's like, in life in the case of a YouTuber, if you look at
Yeah, so everybody who called me a nut owes me an apology. We were just trying to warn you. What evil.
So you begin to wonder, was he experimenting on the topic? Or that's not curiosity, why would he do that? Or were they not experiments that they grew, were they informed? Was there some content to other intelligences that presenting this? Is there, or do people know or involved in activity with raw entities? There's some people say, oh, there's no entities, but what
Let's talk about these trumpet flowers, some gardens and spot these plants and I don't know, make a tea out of it or smoking it. It's huge. I would say we can put people into a good socioeconomic state and not be able to speak and eat it and brains and there's that, but it's also there's also this social and social aspect of it. I think to be a student was when England created Freemasonry, this was like in 1717. You knew Germany became king of the key demons, George I and Henry I. And so they created Freemasonry. You see a lot more people wasn't already in the interpret for it. But there is another definition of the sister organization.
Get under the. There we go. Oh wow. Yeah, they probably created that pandemic. Of course. You can't have people are starting to realize you can't have evil people in charge of huge humanitarian projects. Just dumb. Looking, asking for it. Now you'll probably never get these people out of power.
So in one of the places, these temples and the great and expensive walk of it. And Nikola Tesla because other top scientists, the biggest names in science, they were the place from so these are decent people, really good people.
You gotta remember to put things away and not let it get so messy.
It's a true organization. All scientific, what about the spiritual? The spiritual organization is very open. It's very open-minded. They don't want to just copy and paste stuff and be closed-minded and
say the spiritual world must be like this, that, and the other.
There's no other world.
But have these two organizations next to each other and have like an interaction between those, right? That was the greatest missed opportunity because ultimately, because it was created by these scary Germans or German origin, these German origin people that had mingled with the late Roman Empire in places like today's Italy or South Germany, where I am now. So if better people could have
more epoxy resin for knives,
organizations, but Freemasonry,
all kinds of stuff.
Freemasonry,
should go have a coffee.
Freemasonry claims to be so
Getting
open.
there.
It's
almost done.
join who's a believer in anything.
A lot of work.
Royal Society says we're all about science. No funky stuff like in the early iteration of the Royal Society under the Stuarts. But ultimately, if you get deeper and deeper into these imperial structures, it's just the old mystery cults, and that's very disappointing in some way because it's very copy and paste. It's not like discovering and being objective and saying, hey, this really worked, stuff that they did back then. Were they onto something, or was it just craziness, or was it just the wrong way to do it? But this was a missed opportunity. And so we saw Elon Musk getting implicated, in these emails. Elon Musk asking something like, when's the wildest party going to be? Just tell me when the wildest party is going to happen. And we saw Peter Thiel, Palantir, and these tech companies. So there's like some people that are very scientific minded, but they're also interested in the spiritual. And oftentimes they have some kind of an attachment with Freemasonry or a Royal Society or the offshoots. But it's not what it could have been, right? It's not like, okay, let's be open-minded and try to bring the spiritual and the scientific together. It's just, let's rehash old mystery cults that spilled over from Mesopotamia to Greece and Rome and Egypt and then Europe, especially this place here, Germany. So I've been studying this for a long time, and the infiltration of America, the infiltration of the U.S. is one of the biggest topics I think that people should look into. It's not what the conspiracy guys say. These few Jewish people, they invented Satanism basically, and they infiltrated the U.S. and took it all over. That's not what happened. Professional Europeans did that. Very, very old networks from Europe. It started right after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. These Europeans were so serious, and some were okay for the time. Some were better, some were worse, but some of them were really dark. And it seems like the darkest ones of the Europeans were the most professional ones, and they did not want to see the American colonies go away. Just letting them let them ride off into the sunset, into independence. These dark Europeans, they wanted to get it back and expand it and infiltrate it. And I think that's what ultimately happened. And so the most successful ones.
Well, that's his message. That's not mine.
This was a complicated mess here. These different aristocratic lineages. Some of them go back at least 1,200 years. Some go back 1,000 years. Some go back 800 years. As far as we can trace them. But some of them aligned with each other, formed this cluster, and sometimes we see operations of them, like, for example, the Illuminati of Bavaria. That was just one operation from this network. That was just one subgroup that they had created for different purposes. And so when people talk about the Illuminati, what is that? What do you think it is? It's the most successful people, it's the darkest people, it's professionals that had won battles, it's professionals that had taken over countries and changed whole societies. And especially this particular European aristocratic cluster, they went with the times. They took over England, they took over the scientific organization, the Royal Society, and changed it into the world's leading scientific body. And that changed their imperialism. That changed the way they did things. So they didn't just repeat. They reinvented themselves, and that made them so dangerous.
Oh, I know.
And so,
Need something for
and
little
so,
Allen keys.
yeah, this is when it gets.
Oh, it switched again.
I mean, we saw
Cut me
Prince
off.
Andrew
Fuckers.
getting in trouble. You know,
Don't know
Prince Andrew actually got arrested, and it's not clear yet
Hello.
what for. But you know,
Hello.
the
Hello.
rumor mill is saying
Hello. Yep.
Misconduct in office because he brought some documents over to good old Jeffrey Epstein that he was also partying with, and there's new photos of Prince Andrew like lying on top of some girl or whatever.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Like
a little girl.
Yeah, so he got arrested, but he has
Totally
special
young.
protection. I don't think anybody is as protected as people from that particular.
Well, he's been detained.
Family cluster, yeah. Well, if your close family member is the king, I mean, I think he's gonna be fine.
But notice the Russian exploitation is that the West is ruled by a satanic elite, and they're justified in making war against the West. And now they, says Alexander Dugin, the left and the right,
Dugan's a
can
piece of
unite
shit.
This is what Dugin is saying, right?
Yeah. And this
So
is what,
this is, look, and look, I must remind people, Jeffrey Epstein's pilot was Russian, his bodyguards were Russian, and his
Oh, wow.
assistant was Russian. So,
See?
what is this? Why is it so Russian?
Yeah, and this is not the first time this happened. You know, with the Russian involvement, and then funny things start to happen. You know, moles
Small
get protected, more moles, more traders. This weird these weird secret arrangements between Western countries and the Soviets, or
Trump and this network, he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 15 years. We're seeing now there's allegations from women, many women now, like Haley Johnson, that they were raped when they were 13. And you've got
Yeah, but there's also reports that
children under the
he informed on Jeffrey, so getting conflicting
alluded to and
conflicting reports.
Maybe not in these emails.
Who knows?
And of course,
They're probably all in on it.
You've got this 14
Wouldn't surprise me.
2011 by this alleged driver of Epstein talking about was this, is there cannibalism going on? You've got now you've got people alleging Ellen DeGeneres cannibalized her partner. I mean, it sounds crazy. These Hollywood gossip people. I mean, it doesn't even sound believable. I mean, at what point does it cross over to being hysteria? How much is true and how much
the camera
is
looks
just
really good.
crazy talk?
You know, it's an old phone.
But this is the thing. I mean, if it's a United States president, and there's more cover up, possibly. There's also going to be false allegations, obviously. But in terms of damage control, I
think this thing has a heat temperature too.
Very soon, and people are going to forget about him. If there's no super hardcore evidence, and we live in the age of manipulated images and AI videos and other image manipulations, if it cannot be proven 100%, and if there's not going to be a real big investigation, I don't think we will ever get to know the full truth about Donald Trump, what he did at a specific time. But this is why we have to have a broader investigation, multiple points of entry into these networks, because we don't want the system to go on. Trump is old, his health is not good, he's going to retire. He may leave the country and say, I need peace, and then he's going to die, and the system will go on. And so the system cannot go on, and this is why we need to have this broad investigation. And even though one or the other person may slip through the net, we can still get the network. I think this is what we have to focus on, because it's possible to actually get to people. I mean, there was this incident that had to learn how to use this thing better. This was potentially bigger than even what Trump has been suspected of. Selling out to the Russians or whatever. This was not Donald Trump back then, but this was Lord Louis Mountbatten, and the name Mountbatten or Mountbatten-Windsor, that actually means the House of Hessen. They changed their names. These lineages. So Lord Louis Mountbatten, he sent a Soviet agent named Anthony Blunt to collect highly sensitive batches of documents from aristocratic castles aristocratic castles in Germany right after World War II.
That's nuts.
Most sensitive documents, detailing secret operations from the aristocracy. And Blunt was supposed to obtain documents, for example, from the brother of the Prince of Hessen-Kassel at Friedrichshof Palace in the Taunus. Another mission went to the Duke of Braunschweig. Braunschweig-Wolfenbüttel. People actually understand how powerful these names were.
Braunschweig.
So then Blunt was exposed as a Soviet spy. He was treated with kid gloves. And so multiple experts then concluded with a high level of confidence that the Soviets were able to blackmail the British royal family and their relatives.
Wow.
Now, Louis Mountbatten's nephew was married to later Queen Elizabeth II, who had access to all intelligence. He daily reports in a red letter box and used to be ahead of all of her prime ministers.
Wow.
And Louis Mountbatten himself had a communist wife, and he was into underage boys. We know for certain now because it's been documented 500 times over. So this was organized the way Louis Mountbatten did it. He had a whole system in place to supply him with underage young boys and young men. This was organized like the Epstein enterprise. And so now Prince Andrew from the same family clusters is in the news again. So there's a strange relationship between
I didn't try this with the DC thing. Maybe I can remagnetize them with this.
And so it's a problem.
So much cleaner. This is awesome.
It's a problem when the Russians
should have done this a while ago.
Western systems,
get sore and
they're
tired.
very old and very powerful. It's more dangerous, right? And I think that these European systems, these European systems had infiltrated America a long time ago, and the Russians got into these systems in America. And this is why we have this nightmare today. Now, to get back into to steer this back to Trump and these people and the system. Now, there were many suspicious rags to riches stories. And it always sounds the same.
Trying to remagnetize these.
Germans coming to America and becoming fairy tale rich, at least on paper.
Have to buy two new ones.
Astor, Rockefeller, Heinz, Trump, all German origin. Sometimes it took like 2-3 generations or something like that to become rich and famous, but sometimes it was right away. And so,
if it's right away, someone made them rich.
These Germans coming over, posing as poor migrants, sometimes these Germans were actual agents of someone, of some European network, and sometimes they were just migrants. But over there in America, they may have joined an existing network at some point.
Once for the TV.
So aristocrats, creepy aristocrats, had an influence over American universities, secret societies, like Skull and Bones or Scroll and Key at Yale. Now, so I think the Bones guys, they're kind of a little obsessed with Germany. They think they're a German. They think they're a German secret society, and one of those special people from these Yale secret societies was Robert F. Wagner Jr., who served 3 terms as mayor of New York City from 1954 to 1965. Now, New York was obviously a major place for the Trump family. This is where they really got big. And the Trump family is also from Germany originally, just like the Heinz family. These ketchup billionaires. They're basically from the same city as the Trumps. And there's more connections, I think, between those families. The Trumps and the Heinzes. So so New York City, where connections mattered. New York is a very dark place. And Wagner Jr. became a member of the Yale Secret Society, Scroll and Key, just like John Lindsay was his successor as mayor of New York. So there's a continuity. One guy serving 3 terms, the mayor is from the Yale Secret Society, and then the next mayor is from the same secret society.
Oh wow!
So Wagner's, and there's this whole backstory.
Yeah, I think they're all related
Wagner
too.
Jr. and Fred Trump.
What they say.
Maybe we can get to that
I got my cans over here.
later in that show. So Wagner's father was named
Choke.
Robert F. Wagner. His actual name was Robert Ferdinand Wagner, born on June 8th of 1877 in Naschletten, Hessen-Nassau, Kingdom of Prussia. And this older Wagner, or Mr. Wagner, he became a delegate to the New York State Constitutional Conventions of 1915 and 1938, and a justice of the New York Supreme Court from 1919 to 1926. Wagner, the older Wagner, who had known the future president when they were in the New York State legislature together, was a member of Franklin Roosevelt's brain trust. And the Roosevelt
they probably
family
caused
was
all these wars.
originally Dutch. That means Holland or the Netherlands. So they were called the Van Rosenfeld family. And even the term, because Anglos call them Dutch. People may underestimate these places. Why would we care if people come from Holland and go to America and become one of the most important dynasties in US history? Why should we worry about anybody coming from Holland? Who cares? Who cares about Holland? Holland was never important, right? Well, let's see. Holland to this very day, it's a small country, but Holland to this very day is ruled by the House of Organising-Nassau. The Anglos call it Orange.
Oh, cool.
And it's also the family intersects with the lineage of Lippe-Biesterfeld. I think one of those guys created the Bilderberg Group. Prince Bernhard from Lippe-Biesterfeld. I think he created the Bilderbergers. And there's some overlap between regular Bilderberg guests and the Epstein contact family. And there's also a tie into the Mecklenburg aristocracy. There's also the North Germany. So, as I said, Anglos, they call it the House of Orange. Now, do we know anybody who became important from the House of Orange? Well, there was William III. William actually invaded England.
This is interesting.
He invaded England with a Dutch army.
Oh, fuck.
Against his father-in-law, James II.
Oh, wow.
He was married to one of James's daughters.
I'm related to James II, and the first, and the second, and the third.
Monarchy was overthrown, and it was the establishment first of a limited monarchy in Britain, where the parliament was really dominant over the king.
Yeah, so he had a vast.
These elites are my relatives.
Ships, 40,000 men on board. William is the last person to successfully invade England by force of arms. He was the last person that actually. He's still the last guy who actually managed to do it. William was then crowned at Westminster Abbey on April 11th in the year 1689. And not so long afterwards, in 1714, George I became king of England, and he was from Hanover, Germany. Or Braunschweig-Wolfenbüttel. So people need to take some of these Europeans very, very seriously. Obviously, they would have wanted to infiltrate the United States and bring all that European craziness to America, where while a lot of people from Europe, they really wanted to escape the craziness and go to America and live in peace and make a living and start a family or bring their family over and just live in peace. Not the same craziness anymore. Continuous war. Everybody spying on everybody, and just this people, just cramped spaces. Everybody was so close to everybody, and now you wanted to go to America and have your own piece of land, and be in control and not have the government 10 meters away, have the government be far away, so they could leave you in peace. So a lot of people wanted to escape the craziness, but the craziness also came to America. It wasn't, you couldn't escape it just like that. And it's very important for Americans to understand, for patriots to understand.
I thought it would break, but Actually
America
bent
was
this,
a wonderland.
Farrier's
and
rasp, and I can hang it up.
These few Jewish people came and ruined it all because they're the Illuminati or whatever. The elders of Zion. That's not what happened. It's the craziness that came to America, and
Well, they're part of it.
Every American.
Don't lie.
What does this person celebrate on Independence Day? Well, independence, of course, but independence from what? Well, independence from King George III, from the House of Hanover, and independence from that system, that old crazy European system. You want to be independent from that. But declaring independence and getting independence is not the end of the story, because some of these creepy Europeans, they wouldn't let it go. They wanted to try again with more covert methods, right? And so, so you got to be careful with these. You've got to be careful with these rags to riches stories. When somebody has a German background, Astor, Trump, Heinz, Rockefeller, even the Rothschild family, they're pretty German, right? I mean, that's,
really?
It's important to make that.
I didn't know that.
Everybody can go on the web and pull up photos. Pull up some photos on the web of Victor Rothschild. Who was suspected of being KGB. He was also attached to British intelligence.
Didn't they find proof that he was KGB after the death?
Super difficult because he was also tied to British intelligence and they like to play long games. It's very, very hard to say. But the biggest thing I think with the Rothschilds is that the Rothschilds were initially recruited by the aristocratic House of Hessen. And the House of Hessen, like with Lord Louis Mountbatten, because the name Mountbatten is just, that was just for technical reasons. Mountbatten's, this is the House of Hessen, among others. The House of Hessen got compromised. The Russians, the Soviets, they got secrets. They knew secrets from the House of Hessen. And so if the House of Hessen was compromised,
interesting podcast,
and these aristocrats were compromised, that could also mean the Rothschilds were then compromised. Maybe the Rothschilds knew about this changed situation, or maybe they didn't. Maybe the Rothschilds did what they were supposed to do: work for the aristocrats, do everything they say, own things on paper, but
keep
not
your mouth
really,
shut.
and just do the job for the Brits. And also spy in France, because there was a French branch of the Rothschilds and an Austrian branch.
Why would they flood their own countries with foreigners?
For Britain?
What's the part that doesn't make sense? I don't get it.
How important were these families anymore? You've got parliaments and democracies and newspapers weren't public opinion. How really important are these people, the bourgeoisie, taking over Europe?
All the question that answer depends on the also it depends on the environment or specific aristocratic unit. And not all aristocrats were spy masters or KGB. Some were better and were worse. But I firmly believe there were some aristocratic events who very, very good stubborn and were very good at
There's a very
very different organizations.
What do they need those for?
Different organizations business, strong organizations, and just use standard intelligence methods to create a broader picture that is not so clear. Everybody knew the aristocrats were first part. And even in socialism, where we like the Detroit will always be the focus. We want more control. We want more control over the we want more positions, more resources.
All the shit outside. Fucking in drywall.
to us. So we take all the realistic things. So we kind of realistic things, and I think the logical sequence, the logical sequence is the easy part of this.
Hey, maybe they'll leave me alone because I'm gonna eat blood. You know, maybe they'll leave me alone because I'm sacred bloodline. Never know. Part of their family. No. Hey Raymond, oh, yeah, we gotta cook some supper.
And they migrate to London and super successful, right? So I think this is how it happened. And so people can look up images of Victor Rothschild. He looks German. I mean, you can barely find anybody who looks. I mean, you go along the streets here in Bavaria, and you will find a ton of people that look exactly like Victor Rothschild. He looks so. Then you've got Nathaniel Maya Volkswagen, Bruce Baron Volkswagen, who's a British banking politician, also a Belgian, Maya Carlson Volkswagen.
Kick it into high gear next month. Try to.
We had Sir Evelyn Robert Adrian Volkswagen, studied history at Trinity College, Cambridge, also in very German, and we had Guy Volkswagen from Franco, also in German, and European. We had Adrian Volkswagen. He's tied to this accident. When people look at the video,
It's this.
yeah, so that only makes it extremely German, but to the core, it's Adrian London. She was not originally lost in work there. So she's actually Adrian London. And then Epstein himself, Epstein looked fairly little. I mean, he could walk on the street. He wasn't famous. He could walk on the street and nobody would actually feature himself anything else but a girl. So there's that. So if you look at this over the last few decades, most Jews in America, there are a specific from a specific group of Jewish people, and that group has a lot of European genetics. More than 80% of the maternal lineages of Ashkenazi Jews took place in Europe, with only a few lineages originating in the Middle East.
Oh, that looks good. Gotta take out that pork.
But it's like there's a little common ground between all kinds.
It's all the stuff we got for meat. Little fucking pork cutlet.
Jewish.
And it's rice for a few days.
Has changed where it stopped companies and stuff. You've got a number of Jewish things, but they're compared to the Rothschild side, they're not significant as they were 100 years ago. And so the Jews, and that's the most truth about the Jews, the whole hell of the it's nonsense.
Huh.
You're gonna look on Jews, some of these people that were sometimes even celebrities, because of the walk pad, they made a big deal to be seen for a specific time. I mean, they would not be hiding, they would not be promises
that only 0.6% of the information is Jewish.
in France or in Austria or Germany, and all the stars go there, everybody's partying, and it's so cool. And so they were making a point. They wanted to be seen, but the aristocracy that had recruited, the aristocracy that had recruited them, they did not want to be seen, especially not on a large scale. And so, yeah, this is also a reaction to the kids' story. You know, this is a nobody, a ghetto dweller from, of course, considered ghetto of Frankfurt. And this ghetto dweller, and then his son became even more successful. But they served, ultimately, they served the British Empire. They also served the French somewhat, but, you know, there was also always the specialist spy. So yeah, they did essentially was the Rothschilds did exactly what the system wanted them to. You know, this was always just about we're an empire and the function of an empire. Every part to do the job and only the empire. It's like a fake Rothschild. That's a fake rags to riches story. And there's so many of them.
Look, today, you know, what we have is banks like JP Morgan, Chase Citigroup, Bank of America, HSBC, and Deutsche Bank. And these are publicly traded companies. That means they're not privately owned by a single family. So, I mean, this is the thing. And then if you want to go, you know, JP Morgan, JP Morgan Chase is led by Jamie Johnny, a Greek American. Citigroup is James Fraser, who's Scottish.
Yeah, but who were they owned for before?
An Irish American. HSBC and Deutsche Bank are headed by individuals who are not Jewish. Right? So, but when you hear this, all of the Jewish financial control, the stranglehold, I just needed to make that point because people are they hear this now so much. They are actually, because it's never contradicted, and nobody ever looks to see who's named these organizations. These financial organizations. No. Greek, Dutch, Scottish, Irish. Come on.
Interesting. What an amazing time we live in. You can even talk about this stuff.
You know, what does it matter if somebody has slightly different facial features? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's any. So if the genetics don't really matter, the religion is also something that people misinterpret because you know the average Jew that's the average white person.
True.
And
That's a good point. Oh, it's fucking dirty. So much better, man. Holy fuck.
So
amazing.
The average Jew in a religious sense, is very much different from, let's say, many kinds of Freemasons or the ancient mystery cults, the Egyptian cult system, or the other stuff that some Masons are very interested in. It was a different empire. The Egyptian empire. This was not.
Oh, yeah. I know. I think these guys are trying to underplay everything. Peterson is German. That is a German name. I'm right about that. What they ever talk about these? These guys don't do no commercials.
John Jacob Astor. John Jacob Astor, he was a German-born American businessman, merchant, real estate mogul, and investor. He made his fortune mainly in fur trade monopoly.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
Opium into the Chinese Empire.
This guy did a documentary about that.
Opium,
The fur trade.
into the Chinese Empire. This is also very popular with these old skull and boats. Yale. And by investing in real estate.
The Bush family has ancestors that were involved in that.
And yeah, I was in London in last September, and I saw you can actually see those old ships. Some of them are still there. These old ships that they used to run the opium. And so, and also Astor also became rich by investing in real estate in or around New York City during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. There's also kind of a parallel to the Trumps because they were also in real estate in New York. He was the first prominent member of the Astor family and the first
Oh shit. Where fucked up.
Johann Jakob Astor, he was born in 1763 in Waldorf, a town near Heidelberg.
Heidelberg.
He took advantage of the night.
They named Heidelbergensis after. It's pretty even. No. Don't make that noise. Okay.
And the two big companies were forced. Let me repeat: forced by the British government to work. The U.S. Embargo Act of 1807 disrupted Astor's import-export So Astor magically becomes rich by joining existing systems. You know, he was very tied into these, circles in London and some creepy circles in Canada. Some Canadians believe they're much better than Americans because America is so right wing and blah blah blah. But there's so conservative in the worst meaning of the word. That's kind of conserving the worst things you can probably conserve. So another case, Rockefeller. The Rockefellers traded their patrilineal line to Godard Rockefeller, born as Gotthard Rockefeller, born in Fahr, Germany, and the now deserted village of Rockenfeld as namesake. The first Rockefeller to emigrate to America in 1723 was Johann Peter Rockefeller.
That name just
changed
exudes wealth. Rockefeller.
And so then they became rich and famous by joining existing systems, having access to scientists and money and everything. So you had these prominent people like John Davis Rockefeller Sr., born in 1839,
love to be rich.
In 1937. Oh, you got very old, Mike.
I won't do anything to kids though. Sorry.
He was an American businessman, and they call him a philanthropist. He was one of the wealthiest Americans of all time, one of the richest persons in modern history. Then we got the Heinz family. the ketchup guys who were very big in the Democratic Party, right? I mean, wasn't one of the Heinz women married to a presidential candidate from the Democrats?
When you say Heinz, he's saying Heinz.
Who was that again?
Heinz.
I don't remember who it was. Can you think of that name?
Yeah, someone should examine all these connections.
Senator John McCain.
Because all you get is the Nazi propaganda. It's all Jews.
Oh, John Kerry. No,
Someone
right.
should put all
John
the,
Kerry.
just the money. Follow the money. That's it. Just the money.
The
Not the ethnicity.
Was he?
You see the pattern.
Anyway, these senators, they married. Yeah, I think you're right. John Kerry was the Heinz.
Yeah,
If you're into this,
Anheuser Busch. I mean, you can
Bush.
buy, we can buy American beer here in the supermarkets, and there's also you can also buy the original Budweiser because that's from like the Czech area that's right next to Germany.
Oh wow.
And there's only many Germans that live there, so we can buy the original beer that ultimately became an American beer. So yeah, the Heinz family. Henry John Heinz. It was Henry John Heinz was born in Birmingham, Pennsylvania, to John Henry Heinz and Anna Margareta Schmidt.
Schmidt.
John Henry Heinz.
That's pretty German.
Johann
Schmidt.
Heinrich Heinz. The parents Johann
John
Georg
Jacob
Heinz and
Joseph.
Charlotte Luisa. And her original name was Trump or Trump. Heinz's mother's family, the Trump family. The Trump family was originally from Kallstadt of the Palatinate, which at that time
but he's
was
part
part of
Scottish
the
too.
Kingdom of Bavaria. That's
McDonald's.
right now. In 1840, John Henry emigrated to Birmingham, where
McDonald's
he
comes from
making bricks, and then
King
met
Somerled,
Anna in
like me.
1843, who herself had recently emigrated from a town which is today in Hessen. It's also, aristocratic line with the same name. Because they
Let's make rice tonight.
the aristocratic names are usually the places they control, like Hessen Kassel, very important, like the House of Hessen. So it's networks, and that gets us to the Trump family, right? So it's not just skill or ambition or the American dream. Sure, there was the American dream. You could actually make it, but to really super hardcore make it in America, you needed to join existing networks. And not all existing networks were bad in America, far from it, but there were some really bad networks. And, these European surveys that came to America. So it's all about credit access, information access, legal security, property rights, distribution infrastructure, and institutional endorsement. This is how you make it. And you need elite trust, or at least elite willingness to transact. So you have to be capable, but also well positioned inside systems that multiply capability. So so as we already mentioned, the Astors, they had this, they were networking like crazy. And so needed, the Astor family needed New York mercantile networks, transatlantic trade links, established fur trade structures spanning the Great Lakes in Canada.
Oh, wow.
And so they created a monopoly, the Astor fur monopoly, just like the Rockefellers at some point had Standard Oil.
Well, they tried to blame that one on Jews too.
Standard Oil monopoly.
In that documentary.
Right? This is just how it goes, right?
Actually sent that to somebody.
And so then Astor didn't just make money in the fur trade, he translated profits into real estate, compounding assets tied to the explosive growth of New York City. City's growth was driven by port trade, migration, finance, and state formation. So this was not just an immigrant, not just a rags to riches story. And then with the Heinz family, there was Heinz family, there was family capital and family trust. The Heinz History Center notes that after bankruptcy, Heinz reestablished the company in 1876 with financial assistance from his brother John and cousin Frederick. The Rockefellers
making a salt shaker for borax. A borax
So
shaker
Standard Oil, Rockefeller,
instead of a salt shaker.
Rockefeller Standard Oil was founded as a partnership network, not a solo invention. Multiple credible sources emphasize that Standard Oil emerged from a partnership of key people, not
Standard Oil was
Rockefeller alone.
big
The Library of Congress
back in the day.
business history note lists Rockefeller joined in oil with his brother William, Samuel
Yeah,
Andrews, Henry Flagler, and Stephen.
Then there was that other guy who was Scottish. Carnegie. Carnegie was
Samuel retired
filthy rich.
as a rich man. He built himself a palace, and I think he always dreamt about the British crown
Andrew
visiting
Carnegie.
him in his new palace. So this was kind of how they went about their business. Andrews represents technical expertise, refining chemistry operations. Flagler represented business organization and labor expansion logic. Mr. Harkness represented capital, money, and financial backing. So Rockefeller was a central person, but he was inside an alliance. And so then of course the whole railroad system.
Yeah. What's his name? J.P. Morgan. Yeah.
So none of these people, none of these families were actually pure rags. You know, this was not rags to riches. They all turned network access into monopoly-like positions. Astor, Fur Trade, New York City real estate. Heinz was distribution and a brand that scaled nationally, and Rockefeller was the oil monopoly.
Why is he not mentioning J.P. Morgan?
So
DuPont
and people afterwards,
James
when these monopolies happened, the traditional conspiracy literature, they started to change with the times. You know, conspiracy mythology started out as not interested in Jews at all because it wasn't convenient for the people that controlled that mythology. Then it became about Jews because they needed that to destabilize France and to do some certain operations against the Germans and the Austrians. So it became obsessed with Jews. But then, starting in the 1870s, saw big capitalism in America and the big monopolies and steel, oil, rubber, all these businesses, and all these kinds of people. They were not Jews. Like Ford Motor Company.
Yeah, that's true. Ford isn't.
He hated Jews, basically.
They wrote a book about it.
Rockefeller.
The International Jew.
Not Jewish. All these people, not Jewish. So conspiracy mythology, they had to adapt. They had to somehow construe this storytelling in a way that suggests.
Fucker.
And have these lies about, the Battle of Waterloo and scamming the stock market, stealing from the House of Hessen, the money they were supposed to protect from Napoleon's forces. All these lies never eliminated by these conspiracy authors. They just repeated these lies, and then they said all these other guys, the Rockefellers, Astor, Rockefeller, Astor, they all worked for the Rothschilds. What? And so even when we go to the 20th century and fairly recent conspiracy books like Fritz Springmeier's Bloodlines of the Illuminati, or 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati, I mean, people took that book seriously, even though it's ridiculous, and it has all these names in it: Rockefeller, Rothschild, Astor, blah 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 blah. But the people who read Springmeier's book, they all believed in the Jewish conspiracy. They all believed it was run by the Jews, and every other book was like that. And Springmeier even wrote about, mind control and Satanism and blah blah blah, but he was not a reliable author. I mean, it's easy to say, all elites are satanic, everybody's satanic, and then sometimes when you actually find satanic activity, you can say, oh, I was right. Nobody believed me. They called me an amateur, or they called me a crank, but I was totally right. I mean, it's just a silly game that people play. A lot of people out there are horrible investigators, terrible investigators. Some of them can't even eliminate false information even when you present them all the evidence and present them the logic, they will still not eliminate false data in all these lies. And this is when we don't eliminate the lies, if we don't progress, we will never change the system. The system will go on. Epstein is either dead or somewhere else. He's not needed anymore. Anybody else can take his position. Trump will retire. Trump will disappear. Trump will eventually die because he's an old man. And the system goes on. I would like to mention a piece for people to read. It's on my website, candorintel.com. The piece is called "Revenge of the King: How Britain Stopped Using Guns Against the American Rebels and Employed Espionage Instead." I think this explains kind of my position of how the U.S. was really infiltrated, and why the shooting stopped. When in the Revolutionary War. So the situation at the time wasn't ideal to keep fighting. For the British to keep fighting it wasn't ideal because Britain's global position by the early 1780s was stretched. The empire faced French and Spanish fleets, Caribbean priorities, and India that demanded troops and ships, and domestic finances strained by a war already longer and pricier than expected. Continuing full-scale reconquest of the continent, or America, a full-scale reconquest of America America promised diminishing returns. By contrast, intelligence and influence promised compounding returns at lower cost. And so that's what I believe happened. And at some point, these aristocrats who had infiltrated the U.S. built all these structures, infiltrated New York City, all this. The Russians knew about his personal life. He liked boys.
Ugh.
And a communist wife.
Cool! Just like a salt shaker. Awesome.
He sent a Soviet spy to gather most sensitive documents from other aristocrats in German castles after World War II. So, aristocrats
I know.
infiltrating America, building these structures, and then the Russians infiltrate. The Russians, the communists ultimately infiltrating these aristocratic circles, and this is why I think we saw these tremendous failures in counterintelligence in the U.S. And also I think there's also the reason why CIA counterintelligence became desperate at some point.
Where's that piece?
James Angleton at some point became baffled. How is this possible? How can we have such an infiltration problem, but everybody is putting obstacles in the way, and then he got run out of the CIA on some trumped up BS that mattered nothing. Everybody was putting obstacles in his way, and it wasn't just about this wasn't just because of the regular successes of Soviet espionage. I think this was also because of these older structures that had infiltrated the U.S. early, and this is kind of an amplification of that Soviet espionage problem. It would be a problem in and of itself of a massive scale, but like this, much bigger, right? So people can read this piece, there's a chapter called "The Fear of Storm," the plan
How's that song go? Oh, Jacob, you go behind the snake. Something like that. Maybe get a better motor. Stronger motor for the. See what it shows.
Major John Andre, adjutant to Sir Henry Clinton, managed agent traffic, false passports, invisible inks, and gadgets.
Damn.
Refugees in occupied New York City after a cut with letters from the third world. Then William Franklin,
Do more tomorrow.
governor of New Jersey,
It's good enough for now.
Benjamin Franklin's estranged
Just a
son,
picture of the
became
info
a
on the
loyalist
motor.
organizer after his arrest and exchange. This correspondence network overlaps with what today we would call influence operations. Dr. Benjamin Church, Boston radical and early confidant of Patriot leaders, secretly informed British commanders, a reminder that ideological labels are thinner than payrolls. We had Joseph Galloway, former Speaker of the Pennsylvania Assembly, fled to British lines and provided detailed maps and civil intelligence, offering London a catalogue of Patriot strengths and factions. Arnold is thus best read as the most famous
11 3/4 by 3 3/4.
A fusion of military intelligence, loyalist patronage, commercial facilitation, and skilled case officers. So yeah, this is just one spy.
Should measure the blade.
So yeah. Then Britain went into damage control mode. Cost control. Spies are cheaper than fleets. A packet of guineas can spare a packet boat. Agents can operate behind merchants, journalists, and consuls. Financial leverage, reopen trade and credit. Barings and other London houses would in time finance American governments and enterprises, creating peaceful dependencies. And empires count in decades. The infant American Republic would face debts, rebellions, banking panics, partisan schisms, and foreign entanglements. An intelligence-led Britain could be there for each, quietly. And so London was looking at this young republic over there, and they had some ideas, like they usually do.
Infiltrate, yeah.
To do it.
Smart.
So yeah, there was
fucking Brits. They ruined this place too. They took over the Acadians.
Debate,
persecuted the Acadians. My people.
Both sides.
I'm also British too.
British observers could map which elites would prefer tighter commercial ties with London. Hamilton's funding system reopened transatlantic capital. London financiers became gateways, information influence flow with credit. The Jay Treaty normalized relations with explicit commercial clauses, a gift to intelligence officers whose best cover is legitimate business.
True.
Yeah, and of course, from the 1780s through the mid-19th century, hundreds of thousands of Britons, Scots, and Irish crossed the Atlantic. Most were ordinary settlers. But within that torrent, an intelligence service could hide hundreds of trained observers, couriers, facilitators, and influence agents across a generation with near zero detection risk.
How can that be bigger than the thing?
And then you have vectors of placement, academia. American academia, like Skull and Bones, like Yale. American colleges welcomed Scottish trained scientists and philosophers steeped in the Enlightenment, mathematics, moral philosophy, natural history. Most were patriots by adoption, but the academic track provided cover for observation and introductions at the top of local society. A small fraction could be trained for reporting. And Freemasonry and fraternal orders. Masonry in America grew explosively after independence and kept transatlantic ties. Lodges were elite mixers. They didn't necessarily need to be British controlled, but could be British exploited. The same is true later for college societies, like Skull and Bones, founded at Yale in 1832, is a 19th century institution with European inspirations. And we talked about the opium trade and families making a lot of money with opium trade. And, This was kind of tied to Britain's operation, or Britain's, let's say, imperial operations. The East India Company, very big player at the time. The money edge, and on and on and on. So, of course, the United States was not blind. It built defenses. But how good were those defenses ultimately. So it's like it's almost like Britain played a long game, and Britain and some of these aristocracies, they created these structures in America, and then these structures in America they got compromised by the Russians, the communists. So when we look at the Trumps, starting with the Donald's grandfather, Frederick Trump.
Yeah, 62.
Friedrich Trump.
Friedrich.
That's his name. Friedrich Trump. So he lived from 1869 to 1918. Born and raised in Karlstadt, what was then the Kingdom of Bavaria. And so, yeah, immigrated to the United States in 1885.
How do you get in there? Hold on.
And so, as you mentioned before in the show, during periods of war and anti-German discrimination in the U.S., Trump's son, Fred, also called Fred, later denied his German heritage, claiming his father had been a Swede from Karlstadt. This version was repeated by Fred's son, Donald, in his 1987 autobiography. That late, he still told the Swedish story.
Oh, wow.
That's a riot. So yeah, it's hard to reconstruct what a man Donald's grandfather was. I mean, the times were harsh. Playing fair was usually a problem for people, and it's hard to reconstruct because Donald's grandfather was not yet famous. He was not yet a big player, so we don't have too many records of him, and this is why we have to be careful when we analyze him. So he tried to make money off of the gold rush. Right? Many prospectors moved in hopes of becoming rich. Rumors about financial investments by millionaire John D. Rockefeller in the entire Everett area created an exaggerated expectation of the area's potential. Eventually, Rockefeller pulled out of most of his investments in the area, creating the Everett bubble burst. Trump left the recon, but not actually look for gold. He was selling the shovels, so to speak. He was making money by entertaining the mine workers. So he was smart enough or informed enough to know that was an opportunity. He could make business, not risk everything with his gold search. And then he moved to the next place. Specific things were made illegal, or the laws were enforced more against prostitution, gambling, and that sort of thing. So it's clear that the grandfather learned the game.
Hold on a second. They probably be called.
And when Rockefeller pulls out, everybody else has to shoot him out because it's a bubble. So he knew that there was this hierarchy, and he knew his own place in the hierarchy. And it was kind of a bit too much red light district for my taste. Not very encouraging. We can't say much about his character, but not liking what I'm seeing.
The prostitution.
So then
So Trump's
we come to
grandfather was a pimp. Wow. Pimp hand.
You cannot just rise up, especially not with normal methods and just being hard worker. You needed more. You needed connections. You needed to bend rules.
Whoa.
You have to become part of an
Oh, yeah,
existing
that's
system.
fine.
The system has to recruit you. And this is where it got really dangerous, in my view. In 1961, Trump donated $2,500 to the re-election campaign of New York Mayor Robert F. Wagner Jr. That helped him with the getting to build Trump Village, a large apartment complex in Coney Island. This project was constructed in the 1960s for $17 million. One of Trump's biggest and last projects. And so I mentioned Robert F. Wagner Jr. before at the beginning of this episode.
Get out of there.
So Robert F. Wagner Jr. was the mayor of New York. 3 terms. He was from a Yale secret society. The next New York mayor was from the same Yale secret society. And the Wagner family is German. So Wagner's father, Mr. Wagner, he was from Germany, from a very interesting part of Germany as well. So Robert F. Wagner Jr. Wagner Jr. He worked also as an American diplomat. And politician. Besides being the mayor of New York City from 1954 to 1965. He also served as United States ambassador to Spain, and in a number of other offices. Wagner was born in Yorkville, Manhattan, son of Margaret Marie, and German-born United States Senator Robert Ferdinand Wagner, born in Hessen-Nassau. Wagner Jr. attended school and graduated from Yale University in 1933, where he was on the business staff of campus humor magazine, the Yale Record, became a member of Scroll and Key, as was Secret Society, as was John Lindsay, his successor as mayor. He attended Harvard Business School and a graduate school of international studies in Geneva, graduated from Yale Law School in 1937. He joined the Army Air Corps to fight in World War II, where he served as an intelligence officer. Wow, what a career! I might mention as well that the other Yale secret society, Skull and Bones, they got into trouble during World War II. They got into trouble during World War II because of trading with the enemy. This was the Bush family, I believe it was, and some others.
Yeah, I knew about that.
They had some
Wall Street and the Rise of Hitler. It's in the book.
They were not the only ones.
So there were a lot of people investing in Weimar Germany, and of course then it becomes difficult when Hitler becomes chancellor, because what do you do with your investment? You had
you're fucked.
the United States in developing synthetic petroleum, synthetic fuel.
Rubber.
The Germans built synthetic fuel plants.
Rubber.
That they used in World War II.
Germans had no rubber. IG Farben.
Joined to develop with American companies. And same thing with synthetic rubber.
Yeah.
We developed that in
petroleum and rubber.
With the Germans. And I believe that it was funny at the beginning of the war, when we had our rubber
where's my vape?
because the Japanese captured the rubber growing areas in the Far East. There were people saying, "Oh, we can't use this synthetic rubber because it's Nazi technology, and that would be able to use." Right? People were actually saying that. And this New Deal, the vice president
Good girl.
The Vice President Wallace at the time was put in charge of going down into the Amazon and growing rubber.
Slow thought of work again. Steal the motor out that.
Could have derailed all of American production, but Senator Truman, Harry Truman, that's the reason I think he became vice president, went in there and straightened that out and got the new dealers out of the business of war production. That's why the United States was able to develop. If we'd had those crazy socialists in charge, nothing would have happened. And this is when the New Deal legislation was repealed in the United States during the war, thanks to Truman, that allowed him unleashed American corporations to build all those aircraft and tanks and to have make these production numbers real. But we had to keep our own crazy socialists at bay. You have to have serious business people if you want to build them.
Yeah, let's not forget that, a lot of, the Nazis got a lot of help, directly and indirectly from Stalin at first,
Yep.
Well, there was joint help. The Germans and the Russians, because they were both losers in World War I, they really helped each other.
They both hated the Tsar.
We could train our pilots secretly on Russian soil.
Okay, I got it this time. Fuck, why couldn't I get it before?
The treaty was
Don't get it. Weird.
We couldn't train them, so we trained them on Russian soil or on some safe secret place. And also the communist movement was really strong in Germany. They were actually ready to roll. And as early as 1923, communists were ready to do a full-blown revolution on German soil.
There you go.
Because the old system.
Nice. I haven't got this working in forever.
People, they joined this communist cult. And
it's a cult, all right. Just another cult.
Advisors, like a whole professional preparation.
Cool.
The communist publications were already saying it's going to happen. This is going to be our year. This is going to be the big one. But then the decision was changed. Moscow changed the plan, and communists were freaking out here. And it was,
there's so much noise.
What are you doing? Why aren't you helping us? And the answer was, yeah, it's not going to work. If you try it, it's going to be successful at first, but it's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do it later. Okay. We're going to do it later. So then the joined in
I guess it's just noisy.
1923, I believe, one of early members, early adopters. That's why he made such a big career with the NSDAP party in Bavaria. But the communists were told to stand down. Just don't do this. And what Moscow says, you cannot do this without the blessing of Moscow. Okay, so that's what the communists did. The Nazis became more powerful. And again, the communists tried to push back, but Moscow really didn't want. So with all these ideas, we can have targeted assassinations, we can set things on fire, we could stop the Nazis, but Moscow had a different plan. They wanted things to go ahead. They wanted Europe in flames. They wanted Europe to burn. These countries here.
Well, tell the truth. Hitler worked with them.
The Red Army would march in, and local communists would then also play their part.
He was a communist, Hitler.
In this big takeover. And so this is
more false narratives.
The difficult things we have to understand now, especially Skull and Bones was also tied to.
There we go.
Skull and Bones was also, or Skull and Bones members were also tied to some very creepy things that happened with the developments in Russia during the revolution and after the revolution. And we talked about this before in the show. there was a chance of stopping. There was actually a good chance of
Stop banging so much.
And this is what in the 20s. This is what Winston Churchill said.
Should
He
be that
said,
loud.
These communists are crazy. They're crazy like monkeys. These people are horrendous.
Oh, that's better.
Communism.
It's not
It's
tight enough.
strangled communism. System that Winston Churchill worked for.
This is important. This one for building guitars.
Because of his,
Yeah, I should put it like that.
his invasion of Turkey as first lord of the Admiralty. So they weren't as much listening to him anymore. There was the Lockhart plot, and the thing is that the British were supposed to land 2 or 3 divisions, and I think they only landed 200 or 300 men at Archangel. So everything because of
Whoa! Fucker. Blade broke.
The Kaiser said, now we own London, right? But little did the Kaiser
Just a
know
joke.
that when you get to November 1917, the Kaiser abdicates. He has to flee to Holland. The government collapses. There's a revolution in Germany. Nobody's there to.
Yeah, because the communists tried to take over Germany,
say,
and they were Jewish, partly.
Revolution. Suddenly, Lenin gets away with it, right? Because the people that really had blackmail on him, who were really had put him into power, which is the German government, Kaiserreich, suddenly they're not there anymore. And suddenly you've got social democrats coming in, you've got people dreaming of you got Red Bavaria, you've got dreams of a revolution in Germany. So suddenly this is drowned out. And then you have people submitting the protocol.
So they told Winston, Winston, we understand.
So they
we
backstabbed him.
We're hearing what you're saying, but we just fought World War I. We're exhausted.
And at the same time, you get a revolution in Ireland. You get a revolution in Ireland.
Yeah. We're in debt. The empire, we have to preserve the entire empire, in various places. It's very expensive and difficult. We just can't do a major thing in Russia. And the Americans are saying the same thing. They don't know what to make of it. And have you looked, Winston, have you looked at the intelligence reports about these so-called whites, the white leadership in the white leadership in Russia? These so-called white leaders.
I have to read about all this stuff.
Traditionalists, whatever you want to call them. Have you seen how crazy they are? Look at the intelligence reports. Psychopaths, people who claim to be the descendants of Genghis Khan. They want to resurrect a Mongol empire. They want to work with the Japanese. They want to just do all kinds of horrible things. So let's not back these whites. Let's just see what happens. See what these crazy communists are doing, and then just take it step by step. And Winston said, "Okay, well, if that's the decision, then we're gonna go with that." But what happened? He was tied to the early formation of NATO, and his personal assistant guy, also an aristocrat, became first Secretary General of NATO. What was his name? His name escapes me right now. It was Ismay. I think it was Hastings.
Acting Secretary of
General. Yeah, Hastings. It was Hastings Ismay, I believe it was.
It was Alger Hiss.
Right, but then officially
by Whittaker Chambers.
Yeah, and then it was Hastings Ismay, the trusted assistant basically of Louis Mountbatten. And
the communists wanted to use the Soviets in particular wanted to use the UN as a vehicle. You notice that they made the UN charter originally in a way that the commander of UN military forces would.
The logo is literally the communist logo.
Yeah,
it's the world communism symbol. The wheat shafts or whatever.
The whole thing about let's preserve the empire. Let's just take it step by step with the communists. that all blew up in everybody's face. You know, when Mountbatten got compromised, the whole crown got compromised, MI6 got compromised, MI5, the Cambridge
What a dumb
Five,
design this is.
Kim Philby, they sent
How the hell's the blade supposed to stay in it?
and they betrayed everything the Americans were involved in. Philby did, and also
It's the screw.
others as well. You know, this became a nightmare of epic proportions, and I think that the crown or people within this whole family crown cluster, which is huge, like Mountbatten, I think they made some kind of deals with the communists, and they were opening certain doors for the communists to infiltrate not just Britain but also the U.S. And this is why it gets scary. I mean, Donald Trump, he was born into this society. He was born into this into these wealthy circles that were serving even bigger systems and older systems. In New York, it was mayors from secret societies that go back a long time, all very, 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 very nebulous and creepy. And now we have a situation we're at now. You know, I was never happy with Donald Trump. I mean, I was never really focusing on him so much because I think of the U.S. as systems, and the systems want to go on, you know, despite who's
it's not systems, it's people.
And somehow the decision
every place is people. Systems don't matter. It's the people that matter.
Like 2015.
Idiots. Humans are stupid that way. Oh, you live over there, so
influential
who cares?
Organizations, big churches, big networks, like the Council for National Policy, like the CNP, the very quiet Council for National Policy, they were all getting behind Trump. Even though people within the CNP warned about Trump and said, this is going to cost us female voters. This guy is not a good idea. This is going to hurt the GOP in the long run. Why are we doing this? But somebody decided, no, we're going to get the important members of the CNP behind us. And suddenly the churches were saying, big churches were saying, we're okay with Trump. It's okay. He was partying like crazy and, you know, he was always after money, but we're with him.
His third wife.
He has on his third wife, and you know, it's okay for us. You know, we're on board. And suddenly,
it was very strange because you know I had people that I respected saying, "Oh, Trump is the only one. He's the one we have to go with."
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking, well, Ben Carson is much better. Why do you not want Ben Carson? And of course, oh no,
because he's black.
He's too soft.
Just kidding.
And I thought, so you
I remember that.
A bad guy, kind of a Republican gangster figure, and
he was a Democrat. He was a Democrat.
Trump may be someone that nobody can control. It may be true that everybody's.
He was a Democrat,
on him, but he's so wild and crazy, and everybody's hoping he's going to be on their side. Maybe he leads everybody on that he's going to do their bidding. That explains the zigzagging. But whatever the reality behind Trump, his tariff policy's been a disaster.
Not for the rich people.
How it's gone up since he was elected, it's astonishing. I mean, look, it has basically
blades always break.
In a little more than a year,
You need the right blades.
And a month.
This thing was $35.
Inaugurated, gold has doubled in price. So,
fucking cocksucker! Oh. Piece of shit.
That's his policies.
It's the wrong
That's
blades.
The result of his policies. I'm sorry, he's not. The economy, it's not what it appears to be. There's something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that. We all knew that he was in real estate, casinos, and entertainment business. Why would they qualify him to run a country? Why would they qualify him to make all kinds of decisions for all kinds of people, even security decisions or economical decisions?
Okay.
I mean, he was not even the best businessman the world has ever seen. I mean, the bankruptcies, the shady stuff, and also
he's a reality TV guy. That's what made him famous. So
yeah, but he was a Democrat.
Yeah, and
he was buddies with all the
people wondered about his real estate deals. You know, he was buying hotels at inflated prices, and people thought if he's ever
limited number of blades,
this hotel, it needs to be fully booked 365 days out of the year, no discounts. It's impossible. So then he bought some properties all or he had these real estate deals with concerning Russians. This whole stuff with Felix Sater and Trump's people being involved with Russians. I mean, I covered all of this at the time, and I said, none of this makes me confident. I mean, I don't jump to conclusions, especially when it comes to, you know, getting together with some Russians. This could be part of a larger strategic thing. Somebody said to Trump, look, make some deals with these people and we'll make sure that everything's okay. The national security system will make sure everything's okay. It's actually kind of good for us if you meet with some people and we talk on an occasional basis. Nothing too deep, nothing too complicated. But you know, let us know in advance when you're going to meet somebody, so we can maybe look into this and maybe recruit somebody. And maybe Trump went along with it. That doesn't require Trump to be a super spy. It doesn't require Trump to play four-dimensional chess. It's just a little bit of, you know, business, right? But nothing about.
Fuck, I hope not.
Gave me confidence.
That would suck if he was on the side of the Russians.
There was nothing.
We're fucked.
It was not a single thing that I liked. And I said this.
We're all fucked if that's true.
My preliminary report about him is this. It's not look good. And that's the way it is. And I'm getting into the networks that supported him for whatever reason. And many people in the German audience.
I get it without breaking.
German
Christ. What the fuck, man?
Me for not
How did you do that?
Trump, for not being with the hype. Whereas somebody like Alex Jones, Alex Jones was riding high.
I gotta get the right blades for that.
You know, when Trump got elected,
Delta 15-inch scroll saw blades.
The Alex Jones store made the most money. You know, one day with record sales, another
Thanks for
day
watching me
record
get my life
sales, another
organized.
day record
Later.
sales.